Okay, that's what do we got to do here? We've got to get rid of the banner. Or is it a brand? Uh, hide. There we go. Got it. All right. Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're going to talk a little bit about faith today. To gather in faith as one unit. So I'm going to give it some time to build up audience and a panel here. I believe the panel link is down there for anybody that wants to come up on panel. So I will do my checking on sites to make sure we're up and running. Meantime, anybody that's here, feel free to chat in the chat and get to know each other, say hi, and let me know who all's here. Okay. So we have Yellow Cake Maker and Jack off Jack. Okay. And Chris, greetings, everybody. Let me make sure that the panel link is down there for everybody. And there is a StreamYard. Anybody that knows how to pin that link, please let me know. So we are running on on YouTube, and we are running on Facebook. Great. Okay. I'm going to have a hard time with all the chats and everything doing these multiple streams, so I'm going to try to keep it on YouTube. But real quick here, I'm going to say greetings to all on Facebook. And I will drop the panel link on Facebook as well. That way those watching on Facebook can join the stream without going through YouTube. So anybody that wants to join on Facebook or YouTube should be able to join by hitting that stream link. Let me pull my stream over. Greetings, Derek. Brian, greetings. Ian, I believe Ken was here. Yeah, Brian, I've been around a while, haven't I? We've both been there. I know I started following you right from the start. I love the Tactical Sovereignty site on Facebook, and he also does a Tactical Sovereignty talk show on Sunday nights. So all you got to do is go to talk show Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And my apologies, Brian, for not being there lately. I am getting better. My strength is getting better. So now that I'm going to get back into doing the streams and stuff, I will actually be on your panel on Sunday nights co-hosting again. Please excuse my absence. I appreciate your generosity and your love, brother. Okay. And Joseph, welcome.
Hey, I can't stay. I just letting you know I'll probably look at this later on, and I just wanted to say hi.
Greetings. Awesome. Appreciate the drop in, then.
Yeah, what's the topic?
We're dealing with this this community we're talking about in coming together, gathering. That's what we're supposed to do. Is we're supposed to gather in abundance and then replenish the earth. And that gathering is a gathering of knowledge and then passing it forward. And the only way we can gather that knowledge is by our observance. Sometimes we have to observe other people and have faith in those other people. Sometimes we're left with our own observances and have to have faith in ourselves. So we realize in modern times that we have stories and myths and things that we can look back and reflect on to build that faith without having observances right before us. So there's intellectual faith, there's spiritual faith, there's observant faith, there's all kinds of faith, and they all work cohesively together to make us one in gathering ourselves, so we know ourselves, so we can gather with other people. Faith is something from within. We have to realize that.
Yeah, if you just sit around and let things happen, the world will. Sorry, can you go over there, please? That's my daughter. The world will go on by, and that momentum will carry forward. But eventually, if you don't speak for yourself, your opinions will not be heard. So,
yeah.
And the faith is strong, man. It's like you got the faith that you'll make it on the other side of the fire, but where the works come in, you actually got to walk into the fire. You can't just not go into it and expect.
Hey, could I have you mute up, Russ?
What's up, bro?
Greetings. When you come on board, guys, please mute up so that when somebody else is speaking, you don't interrupt. Please, and I appreciate it. Sorry, Russ. Don't mean to be rude or anything. Just got to mute up, folks.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, did you get a chance to take a look at that video I sent you in an email?
Not yet.
I think you probably ought to look at that, buddy.
All right, we'll do.
When you started talking about that, when I made that, I think what I feel was probably my final piece to the puzzle here, right? When you started talking about the literary and artistic arts that's on the form, that moved me in a way. I believe that was a final piece of the puzzle for me.
Well,
And
yeah,
I want to thank you. I want to thank you again. And if you see that video and you find value in it, share that bitch out.
I will, and that should go to show
And
you
that-
the importance of your words, people. That's why I tell people: coin your words or purse your lips. Read everything you get. Don't just take it for granted. Read it, learn it, comprehend what it's telling you, so you can let no tongue prosper. You have to learn their tongues and learn how to hold your own tongue.
Hey, so that's exactly what we did. Now I'm back up here. Remember when I asked you and Paul what you thought? You think I should come back? Well, I'm on PA right now. So take a look at that video with the chief of police in Horsham in Montgomery Township, because I put his ass on Front Street and I showed him real quick. I'm the captain around this son of a bitch.
Yeah,
So,
I will
hey,
do
if you
that.
want to play it,
I will see. All
play
right.
it out. Anybody's free to do so. Use it for your advantage.
Oh yeah, you know me. I will. I love all good information that can be demonstrable. So we will look
Yeah,
at it and go from there.
I was down in Doylestown, and a cop pulled a lady over, and I jumped out and ripped his a new ass filming, and then that led me. I said, you know what? Let me go on up and see the old chief. And when I went up there, boy, ooh, shoo, it's rolling, baby, it's flowing.
Yep. That's when you start getting that spirit in you, and it moves you, and you realize how effective it can be. But
Hey,
I
that's
urge
twice for
people,
you. That's twice for you. You guys better take heed what this man says. You
and
better take heed.
I got to urge you, people, when you get in front of these people, don't act like me, like I do up here on these screens. When I deal with these people, it's a totally different scene. I'm not the same person I'm up here on this screen. I'm assertive, but I'm not nice, and I'm not rude or disrespectful either. I just straightforward speak what needs to be spoken. And if they can deny it, feel free to do so. Otherwise, what I generally speak is straight up truth and reason and logic that can't be denied. And I urge all to learn that.
And they will continue to keep back. Like I love. Hey, I wait till I get a hold of Paul. That word vituperative, boy, I used it a couple times in this video, and it's back forming. You ain't back. Hey, get out of your back forming, son, because I'm already in form.
A judge is an administrator of truth. Is that right, Keith?
I'll
Yeah.
administer this house.
Yep.
So you'll often see a judge acting as the prosecutor instead of the judge. You know, instead of acting as that administrator of truth, they will assume that prosecutorial role, and of course, when that occurs, you have a botched trial at that from that point forward.
Absolutely. And that's why I tell people, stick to the truth and you'll always get them. And the truth is, they start out the process wrong. Did they notice you by a public venue? Yep. Excuse me. Did that officer pull you over alongside a public roadway? Yep. Goodness. Matthew verse 18 or chapter 18 verse 15 says, go to your brother in private first. That's the first step in any process, is private, not public. So let's get into it. The movie the thing we're looking at is called, it's The Chosen One. This is a series on a series the guy is making for 7 seasons. We're in season 3 about the story of Jesus. And this is season 3, episode 8, the finale for this 3rd season. And it's one of the most profound ones I've watched. So I wanted to play it again because it pretty much every step of this particular episode goes right in line with what Paul is putting out there and trying to help everybody learn that faith. And you can't learn faith in yourself until you quit lying to yourself, period. So we're going to get into it. Present. Share screen.
Thanks, Wiz. I'll have to watch this later on. I appreciate your time and your knowledge as always.
You bet. Anytime. And like I said, guys, the panel link is open, so feel free to jump up. I'll try to keep an eye on it, and as well as, like I said, the other chats and everything. I'm trying to get better at this to be a good host, but I'm not used to hosting. So please give me some leeway, and we will work on it and get there. Okay. And let me know if you can hear this and see this well.
Type 1 when you can hear me. Whoo, here we are, guys.
Did we hear that? Did we hear that? Did we hear that? Good. How about Facebook? Did we hear it on Facebook?
For some reason, Keith, I can't post that video on Facebook. It will not allow me to.
Okay, I'll get it. Okay. Jeff, can you mute, brother? Mute? Or is that Russ still? We've got a lot of background noise. All right. Thank you, guys. Greetings, Jeff. Always a pleasure to see you, brother. Always. You bring a great vibe, brother. I really do appreciate that, despite the vibe. So let's get into it. This is like I said, the series is it's on YouTube, but this guy here is doing a review, and we are doing a review of his review. So we're not really going to listen to his review as much. He's just a corner down here in the corner, and he says something every once in a while. So anytime anybody wants to speak, just ask me to pause it, and I'll be glad to stop it at any time. This is a review, and I would hope that people would have an input. So please do so. Get back to it.
2.5 months later.
And we're going to skip right to the beginning of this one.
Whoo, here we go.
And everybody, please enjoy.
If you don't like me on the screen, go watch it on the Chosen channel. 990 BC. Okay, here we go.
Our Lord Most High's anointed, King David and his queen.
Rise, please.
Hey, real quick, Wizard.
Asa, how is the peace coming along?
I think we're close, Your Majesty.
Yes, brother.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
I've got some family going through some shit, whatever. We're really close, but my aunt's like Jesus freak, you know, the only way you can get to heaven is if you believe in Jesus kind of shit. And I kind of, and I'm really close. Like my cousin, he's like my brother. Um, and so she's like leaning on me to guide him or some shit. And I have I just kind of have like an issue in believing like the only way to get to heaven or some shit is through believing in Jesus Christ. And I do believe Jesus Christ is a man, um, and just some wonderful things. But I think there's so many texts beyond that and before that, um, for me to agree, um, that if I don't believe in a certain thing, that I'm not going to get to a certain place. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
It's all conceptual, and it's kind of like Paul tells you, you know, when you involve yourself in the various different scriptural religions, you find the viewpoint is pretty much the same, and that's what I pose. You know, like I tell people that want to bring out the Torah and somehow use it as if though it's the scriptures. No, the Torah, the Quran, the King James Version of the Bible, they're all scriptures, and they all mold us all together as one. They're all saying the same message, to do unto
Yeah.
others as you would have them do unto you. That's the
So,
basic principle of life.
so what would you say to, um, like as a civil discourse to an aunt that I do love and care about, and say, hey, I don't I don't quite agree with you that the only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ.
Um,
Like, what do I mean? What do I say to her to that? I don't really. I kind of had a little bit of discourse with her, and it was a polite conversation, but she was almost just kind of like she felt sorry for me. She's like, "I'm just gonna pray for you because if you don't believe in Jesus, then I guess you're just gonna fucking burn in hell." And I'm like,
yeah, and that's
I don't really believe that. I don't believe my soul. I think I'm a good man, and and I said I believe in not causing loss, injury, or harm. And then she just hit me with like, you don't think you harm your mother by saying the words you say? You don't think you're causing loss? Like she kind of hit me with a whole bunch of things where I was like, oh shit.
well,
She's pretty good with rhetoric, and I was like thinking that's the bold claim of not causing loss, injury, or harm. Like, I mean, I guess you can cause loss, or harm on people subjectively. Anyways, I yield. I'm gonna
well, yeah,
let you
those,
speak.
yeah, and those you're dealing with what I call feelings, which is what Jack portrays as FEELINGS. Those are your emotions, whereas your other feeling comes from your heart, and that is FEAL, and that is what you have a fealty to. Do
Yeah.
you feel true to the earth, or do you feel true to a concept that this person is posing as opposed to the concept that this person is posing? So there are variances, and that's what we're dealing with is the emotions of those variances. When in reality, again, when you look at the deep set of all of it, it's all the same principle: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So in your particular situation, I would go ahead and be amenable with the aunt and say, yeah, I do believe in Jesus. Okay. Because in a sense, you believe in the story. And that's what we're told to do is believe in the message, not the messenger. So you can subject yourself to her realms
Give me
of
1 second. Sorry. Sorry, wizard.
that's
Give me
fine.
one. Give me 1 second.
So you can subject yourself to her issue of feelings as emotions and still project yourself onto your cousin or whoever it is, the same message in a different way. So it doesn't have to come across scriptural, even Jesus. You can use the Tao or the Taoist or Buddhism or just your own little adage that you learn through your own history. You know, and sometimes this is the most effective is when you use your own family's history's adages against it. So, and these you can find in a lot of the literary works that you find from people like Mark Twain and stuff in the historical literature of the American society.
So I know you quote the scripture a lot. Do you believe in all the scriptures?
No, no. There are scriptures that it's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of imagining a concept. And it's like David and Goliath. You imagine this concept that David beat this giant with this little pebble, right? But it wasn't the fact that he beat the giant with a little pebble. It was the fact that he brought a new weapon to the table that the giant wasn't familiar with, and he had no faith that David could beat him with it, yet David had all the faith that he would. Pure and simple.
Okay, so I mean, I feel like you obfuscated a little bit on that. So, do or do not believe in other scriptures or Bibles or Qurans?
Yeah, I believe in the positive concepts that we have, and all of those scriptures point out both positive and negative. And particularly in the King James version of the Bible, it tells you who's partaking in which part. Like Isaiah 54, it tells us, let no tongue prosper against us. So we have to learn those tongues. But in other scripture, it tells us that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So when we rise up in against that judgment and let no tongue prosper, we're not wreaking vengeance. We're just bringing the truth, which is the inheritance of the service of the Lord is the righteousness. That's what we're supposed to bring, not the hate, not the violence, it's things like that. That's why I do my best not to call people like racial names or religious names. I'll call people dumbass. That's an intellectual thing. You know?
Dumbass.
Right. But when it comes to like even black hoe or any, I stay away from those terms.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Wizard.
I hope that helps.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to it.
I'll hit a work in progress any day. A work in progress is better than no work at all. No
Now,
progress.
Todd.
I'm looking forward to it as well. But if I may, where are the harps, lyres, and flutes?
That's... Well, we were trying something new.
Go on.
Something new, huh?
This is a psalm of Asaph. He wrote the lyrics, I composed the music. And instead of singing and using instruments, the text will be spoken, accompanied by a low hum from the choir.
The human voice. The most beautiful instrument of all. A wonderful idea.
Thank you, sire. My prayer for this psalm is that...
My prayer also.
May it please the king.
And the king.
Him most of all.
I cry aloud to God, and he will hear me. In the day of my trouble, I seek the Lord. In the night, my hand is stretched out without wearying. My soul refuses to be comforted. When I remember God, I moan. When I meditate, my spirit faints. You hold my eyelids open. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I consider the days of old, the years long ago. I said, let me remember my song in the night. Let me meditate in my heart. I will appeal to this, to the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your wonders of old.
Here we go. The season finale. I did see this in theaters, and I did cry multiple times. So if I don't cry, I already cried in theaters. This is by far to me the best episode in the whole season. Let's get some ones in the chat. Make sure that you hit HD. If you're not watching in HD, make sure you put it on HD.
If your own followers can't figure out how best to share or live our teachings, then why should anyone else?
Sit down.
That's your answer.
I don't mean you, I mean my students. Sit with me.
Now?
Yes, please. Hello, Simon.
Rabbi, we didn't come here to cause trouble.
Well, it would appear that trouble has found us.
So then we should address it.
And how do you propose to do that, Big James?
Listen to them.
My friends, sit with me. We cannot go any further until we agree on something. Please. I'm a rabbi, and as these Jewish brothers will tell you, we like to teach by asking questions, and we all like to solve problems by talking. Begins with a disagreement, even better. So, feel free to listen, and if you'd like to argue a bit, that's fine too.
Your growth begins with the discourse.
Rabbi, we look weak and defenseless.
On the way to Jairus' house in Capernaum, what happened when the woman Veronica touched me?
Power went out from you.
No, I mean, what happened to her?
She was healed.
How?
By touching the fringe of your garment.
No. My friends, you forget so quickly. You are dear to me. But your memories are short.
You said, "Doctor, go in peace. Your faith has made you well."
Your what?
Faith.
Her faith. Many of you are afraid right now, instead of choosing to have faith in me.
But, Rabbi.
And it's faith in me, in the story, not necessarily like we were speaking with Jeff in Jesus, but in the story, in the way he acted towards other people. This is a gathering. You'll see that it's many different people. And this is one of the problems that the Pharisees had with him. He was bringing people together, and the Pharisees didn't see the point in preaching to those that were Gentiles, when that's the exact point of the story.
He must see what's happening all around us.
Of course he does. That's the point. Rabbi, increase our faith.
Judas, if you had faith the size of a grain of mustard seed, you could say to a mulberry tree, "Be uprooted and planted in the sea," and it would obey you.
Can a mulberry tree go in the sea?
He's making a point.
Truly, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you could say to a mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. And nothing will be impossible to you.
How? How do we get there?
Like Judas said, you increase our faith.
It's not about size, Philip. It's about who your faith is in. If your faith is secure in God, trusting His promises, choosing His will for your life instead of your own, this sized faith is enough. These people we are ministering to, they are like bees hovering among the flowers, waiting for them to open up so they can sip the nectar and spread it to others. But they must see a faith in you that is secure, big or small.
Looks like you have your work cut out for you.
Hey.
You're right, teacher. They do have short memories.
Excuse me. What are you doing? Step back. We're listening to our teacher. So am I.
Ignore him, son. This moment is about us and Jesus.
What is that smell? Rancid.
It is an infection, okay? My leg is broken and it got infected. Mind your own business.
You need to get that checked out. It's really bad.
You're right.
Unclean! Silence.
Look, I didn't ask to get a broken leg.
And we didn't ask for him to come into this region and make things worse.
I'll talk to you in a moment.
I'm here to test what he said about the faith of the bleeding woman.
I already know, brother.
And just like Paul tells you, he already knows. He already knows why you're on his panel. He triggered you. That's what Jesus is doing. He's triggering people. How does Jesus trigger people? He triggers people with like 307 questions. And he only answered 3 of them. Think about that.
I know you.
And it's these particular parts, as they portray them, that I have less favor to believe. It's when these parts come up and say that this miracle happened and it's portrayed in this way as instantaneous. I have a hard time believing that kind of miracle. Although it is somewhat possible to have faith in healing yourself and have healed yourself. But I think it would take more time maybe. You know, I don't know if I believe in the instantaneous miracles as such. But again, that's up to observance. I haven't observed such thing, so I can't really portray it that way. These guys portrayed it that way and hoping that we have faith that it happens that way. I think that might be detrimental to the foundation of what we see as faith. You know what I mean?
You know, when you pray of, like, say, that the good health, you don't pray and ask for the good health. You pray like he's already healed you. So once you start that, you technically already are healed. Yeah, our physical might take that time to reach that destination, but it's already there.
Right, which is not a prayer for a material thing, but rather a path to. Excellent.
Under normal circumstances, I would strictly charge you to tell no one. In some regions and with some people. It's just not my time to be revealed and to escalate tension too soon. But it looks like we're past that.
It's been a long time since I've ran. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So as I was saying, the healing is the miracle, and in modern times we see that miracle. It's just that we don't see it as an instantaneous. We still see the same process where he was healed and eventually is able to run. So it's a process. Once again, it's just a matter of time, and that's what they're actually stealing from us is time. Pay attention, ask, and remember what I just said when they asked Jesus a certain question, and one of the answers he gives. One of the few questions he answered, and it was a one-word answer.
Let's go!
I'm glad you came, Simon. It's going to be a long day.
Oh my. Shalom.
It's good to see you, Eden.
What a surprise. Is everything all right?
Good. Have a word inside.
Of course. What can I get you to drink? Please, Eden, we're fine.
Let's sit down.
Is something wrong?
You tell us.
Seb.
This morning, I ran into Simon at Matthew's old house. He was in a bad way.
Oh, well, that's his way. He's all mine.
I've known him since he was born. This wasn't Simon being Simon.
Eden, we love you like the daughter we never had. Ever since the day you married Simon, a lot has changed in all our lives these past 2 years, especially yours. And I sense, we sense that some part of Simon's distractedness has something to do with your marriage.
We're not saying it is.
We just want you to know that you can talk to us. We are here for you no matter what's happening. Lord knows we're not perfect, but we have been married for a long time. If there's anything we can do to help, we want to.
I myself am none too pleased with Simon at the moment. But I know he's a good man. I fished with his father, Jonah. For 20 years, I never really knew the man. He was so difficult and distant. But Simon...
Now it's telling me video playback interrupted. Please try again. Now, I don't know what they don't get about copyright and how that works. But I'm glad you're up on panel. If you want to stick around, we're the only ones that get to see this now. So it's up to you if you want to finish this. This is why I want people on the panel, because otherwise we don't get anything.
And look, this whole journey, man, this was the aspect of that I love the most. You know, coming into equity, learning that, I mean, because it drew me toward, this is how I got saved. You know what I mean? Studying the law, this was the most impactful part about this whole journey. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely down, man. I love this stuff.
So I got to check Facebook here. Okay. Because I believe we're still up on Facebook. Let me double check here. Yes, we are still up on Facebook. So it's YouTube that's cutting it for a copyright strike, and that's not a valid copyright strike.
Just like that situation that Paul's having. If you were playing some sort of degrading, negative thing, I bet they would not have even tried to strike it.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, folks, is this the YouTube platform has an automatic AI that says that when we start streaming something, they're going to copyright strike it. I don't know what the time parameters are, but there's certainly some kind of time span where if it listens to it for a certain length of time, it will cut it off. And it looks like it cut it off, and I didn't even realize it way back a long time ago, you know. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes and finish up on Facebook, because everything ended in YouTube. But like I said, the last time we did this, they cut me off, and so I cut the stream. But then later on, they allowed it back on. So all I have to do is let them know, hey, you cut a video that can't be copyright stricken. So we'll see how it goes, because that's my interpretation about how these copyright laws work. So like the last one that they cut, they turned around and put it back up an hour later. So we'll see what happens here. We'll continue on. And like I said, the StreamYard link is on Facebook as well. So anybody that wants to, and I'll go ahead and drop that again, matter of fact, because anybody that wants to jump up, feel free to do so. I love people up on the panel to give us other voices. So there's the link on YouTube or on Facebook again, and we will resume back to our video review.
Has tried to be better than that. And now he's learning a completely different way of living that will be bewildering for any person, let alone Simon.
It's not just him. I mean, it's both of us. But if I'm honest, it started when
Are you hurt?
no, it's
Zeb, give us a moment alone.
Of course.
Now he doesn't know how to be here for me now that he is here. He was angry that he didn't know how to help me.
Here, how can we help?
I don't know. And neither does Simon, which is our problem.
I'm sorry.
Eden, I haven't known you for very long, and I don't know anything about marriage. Actually, not that I think about it, I probably shouldn't.
No, please. You may not be married, but you have suffered. You have lost family.
Still, I am new to all of this, so just know that. You say you have completed your ritual purification requirements.
Not in the mikveh, because of the broken cistern. But in the sea, yes. And I isolated for 7 days, which wasn't hard since Simon was gone.
And being cleansed didn't help at all.
No. It made it worse, because it didn't bring my baby back. And it didn't help with my marriage. That woman, Veronica, who Jesus healed, when she cleansed in the sea, she had so much joy.
She had just been healed of her malady. Her anguish was over.
And you were only at the beginning of your grief, child. Have you talked to a rabbi?
The one I want to talk to is not here, and neither is my husband.
I don't know what it's like to go through what you have, but I have been through enough to know that you need to grieve.
Jesus gave her healing and joy, but he hasn't given that to me.
So go to synagogue. It's not about the rabbi there, it's the words from God that he can give us. That's what Jesus gave me.
We're 15 minutes in. We still have about an hour and a half. So if you're just jumping in, asking if you missed, you didn't miss it. It's just starting.
How do you feel about how they
Now,
portrayed that right there?
What is your name?
Brother Keith?
Fatia.
She is Nabatean. I didn't ask her ethnicity. Fatia, help us all understand what exactly has happened in this region.
Your students preached the Nave about a kingdom that entranced many from this region visiting the city, including the augur of Abila, who stopped performing his ceremonial and civic duties upon returning to Decapolis. Work came to a standstill. Construction was halted. Merchants could not get permits, and wells went undug.
So you're telling me that the region was paralyzed by the absence of one man?
What Fatia did not say is that the merchants who could not get permits hijacked a caravan of exports from my Syro-Phoenician brother.
We had a deal in place that you reneged.
What is your name?
Aramis. I'm a bronze caster.
You appear to be in good health and strength. You're well dressed in Athenian blue. It matches your eyes. Tell me, Hermes, what is your plight?
I bought a plot of land in the north. I needed a reading of the auspices to determine the gods' favorability regarding construction of a new casting facility.
Sounds so simple.
But because of what those Jews said,
Do not associate these people with our order.
You stood by as reports of their teaching poisoned the mind.
You don't know what we have and haven't done, Fatia. We strenuously disavow all of their teachings. We have been punished for crimes we did not commit.
Andrew, Philip.
Yes,
Rabbi,
sir.
did you direct your teaching to Jewish citizens?
Yes.
As you instructed.
But the augur from Abila overheard and was moved.
Aramis, what would the augur's reading have told you?
Whether they were good or bad omens.
Doesn't that sound absurd?
You would call us absurd? Jew? Your laws about food and purity are laughable.
What? Whoa. Sit down, brothers. The last thing these people need is thunder.
Hey, Sons of Thunder.
How can I build a business without knowing where the gods want me to build?
Nazarene, if you are any sort of self-respecting rabbi, you will not dignify that question with an answer.
Your people's condescension is unending.
Oh, and there's never been a note of condescension in your voice, Fatia?
Let's stay on topic. So here we have Aramis, paralyzed by fear that his business ambitions might not be sanctioned by the gods of his religion. How could this lead to violence?
The augur's flagrant rebellion undermined Greek authority.
And yet the Jewish community was targeted in a brutal wave of attacks.
My people were hardest hit for not having paperwork with Rome.
And you turned to crime!
Out of desperation!
That is why I brought Andrew and Philip back to clarify their message.
They told a story about hospitality, but for some reason, Jews and Arabs came to blows over it.
The people originally invited to the banquet in your story had perfectly legitimate reasons for not coming.
Which is another way of saying some people think the old way of doing things is better.
Look to the ancient roads where the good way is and walk in it.
You know your prophets.
Of course I do.
What about Isaiah? Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past.
Do not pit prophets against each other, especially on this issue. The people on the highways and hedges. Surely you're not referring to the Gentiles.
You sound like you don't want us to come to the banquet.
The meaning of the story is that God wants his house full. And everyone who believes in me is invited. Plain and simple.
Heresy!
You know, you sound just like the people at the beginning of the story who declined to come to the banquet.
I wouldn't be caught dead at a banquet with you. I couldn't stand before God if I was.
Now do you see?
So you're telling me
So now you see, we're doing the exact same thing they did eons ago. This is the same discussion, and it's going the same way.
Yeah, it's crazy because everybody there just witnessed a miracle, right? So they just seen what he was capable of and what he did, yet they would still right in the midst of it still be dwelling in their own problems and still not see the solution that's right in front of them.
Exactly. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to start making discernment about what we observe. If we keep going around life blind like we are, or we're going to get worse and worse, not better and better.
Yep.
That prior to Andrew and Philip's visit, the Decapolis was a veritable paradise of peace and unity?
At least groups kept to themselves.
Stop. Our town of Abila has been on edge for decades.
We always knew the Jews were fractious and divided, but quietly, inside their synagogue.
At least we go to Jerusalem to make our sacrifices. Not like you Greeks who leave your offerings on public altars to rot and stink. Ever wonder why Zeus never seems to come down to eat of your offerings?
Maybe it's because the wine is sour and spoiled.
Maybe it's because there is no Zeus.
The augur's apprentice secretly removes the votive offerings under cover of a night when the stench is unbearable.
So basically your religion is a sham.
Again, that contemptuous spirit. Are you proud to belong to this denigrating race?
Aramis, please. Jesus, your fame is well known. We've heard how you work wonders and change lives and preached a sermon on the Chorazin Plateau that some are saying may become the most significant speech the world has ever known.
I wasn't doing it to become famous.
Well, too bad, because you are. And specifically for succeeding at all you put your hand to.
Looks like you've arrived at your first failure.
Jesus of Nazareth.
Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like what Paul's saying? He's going forward with successes. Why aren't you looking? What? Because you see one failure?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Get real, people.
Yeah, and he's not hiding his failures either. He's letting his failures sit right there in front of everyone.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being an open book. I have no shame. The shame is put away. When you learn the reality of life and that you were fooled, you admit you were a fool. And you put away that shame and you go forth and learn how to be successful. It's the only other way.
The failure is part of the truth. I mean, so you can't disregard any part of the truth. It's the whole truth or nothing but it.
Yep. Okay. Back to it.
If you are who you say you are, why do you inspire and transform some people but threaten and disgust others?
Let me tell you a story.
I know. But this is another thing we Jews do. And come to think of it, so do the Greeks. So everyone just listen up. A sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path.
Can't hear you.
More listening. I'm going to move back so we can welcome as many as possible. Students, please, spread out and organize the people and help pass my words on to those far away.
You want to send us out into...
Go on.
We can trust him, John.
Z, Big James, stand here for protection.
For those asking who's the guy in the corner, my name's Isaiah Saldivar. This is my channel. That's why it says my reaction and review. So, hello, welcome. Also, if you guys have questions, 2 weeks ago I interviewed the creator of the show. Go watch that podcast on my channel. It'll answer all your questions.
You come from Perea.
The Decapolis.
That explains it.
Explains what?
Fair tassels. You aren't wearing any.
Yes, they are not in style in the Hellenist cities.
Not in style. Pay attention, folks. This is a very important part.
What brings you to Judea?
An important errand in Jerusalem.
You might consider stopping in Jericho on your way to pick up some tassels. You aren't wearing any in the holy city.
Thank you, but I have weightier matters on the mind than fashion.
You better hurry. There is a storm coming.
There certainly is.
Weightier things in mind or on mind than fashion. What's he wearing?
This man, Leander, asked, how can it be that I inspire and transform some people, but seem to threaten and repulse others? And so, as I said, I'd like to respond with a story. A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil.
Other seeds fell on rocky ground where they did not have much soil.
Immediately they sprang up, for there was no depth of soil.
And immediately they sprang up, for there was no depth of soil.
But when the sun rose, they were scorched. And since they had no root, they withered away.
And since they had no root, they withered away.
The thorns grew up and choked them.
Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them.
And the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and produced grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30.
Some 100-fold, some 60, some 30.
He who has ears to hear, let him hear.
He who has ears to hear, let him hear.
Are yet rejecting me as I am rejecting you.
You seeing this? Simon, this crowd. We are completely surrounded. There must be thousands.
What in heaven? I'm coming! I'm sorry to disturb you, Rabbi, but it's urgent. Rabbi Shmuel, it is a great honor. Forgive the late hour. My name is Nachon, son of Eliab of Abila.
You've ridden a great distance. Did your tassels fall off along the way?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, they must have. My apologies.
Get him a spare. Please.
I heard the great Shammai has issued an edict regarding false prophecy, to be on guard and alert for anything amiss.
Yes.
I have just encountered...
What is that vest?
Oh, this was a gift from my wife. Damask, so named for Damascus, where it is made, a silk and linen weave very popular in the Hellenist cities.
Remove it at once.
Excuse me?
Take it off. According to the law of Moses, you shall not wear a garment of cloth made of two kinds of material.
Oh, I thought that was just an old...
An old what? Finish that sentence.
I don't know. A thing about not imitating Canaanite culture, a cultural prohibition for its time. I didn't think anyone actually...
Torah is timeless.
I understand. Again, my apologies. I did not intend to sin.
It is as I expected in the Decapolis. Greek influence has polluted your faith.
The commercial influence is what pollutes your faith. The greed, gluttony, the willingness to lie so you get above your brother, keeping up with the Joneses. It's all bullshit. Get over it.
So that's where you were going with. I was trying to pay attention to catch where you were like, hold on, this is important. I'm glad I got it.
Yep. Full armor. Full armor is all you need. You don't need all the other materialistic shit. Like I said, it's a manifestation of a path, not a manifestation of material gatherings.
But apparently not so much that you did not heed Judge Shammai's edict.
I encountered a Jewish rabbi consorting with Gentiles. Multitudes. He even healed a Gentile deaf mute.
Tell me about the preacher.
3 weeks ago, a pair of students from Capernaum were teaching in the way to a group they didn't realize was both Jew and Gentile, repeating the teachings of their rabbi, whose name they said was Jesus.
Of?
What do you mean?
Jesus from where?
A small town called Nazareth, if you can believe.
I require no further information from you.
But
summon
Rabbi...
the temple guard, retrieve Rabbi Yanni, I'll gather Shammai's representatives, meet us at the Herodian staircase.
Don't give any spoilers away or you'll be muted temporarily. I just muted someone. Do not give away spoilers, please. Thank you. Yes, I saw this in theaters. Best episode of the season. Do not give spoilers out on the end or you will be muted. Mods, mute anybody that puts out spoilers. Put them in a 5-minute timeout.
14 hands. Athenian blanket.
Thank God.
Macedonian bridal leather. Syro-Phoenician hammer-finished steel shoes. Whoa. And you left her untethered, untended.
I was in such a hurry. Here, for your pains, I am terribly grateful.
No, it's all right. My pleasure, really. But tell me, what could be so important that you would leave such a rare beauty vulnerable to theft or wandering off?
I had important business with Rabbi Shmuel.
Rabbi Shmuel? I am fascinated to know more. You must be very important yourself.
So we see a confused messenger who portrays that he's not on this materialistic fashion thing, yet we find out he is. And then we find out not only is he confused in fashion, he's confused in spirit.
What I'm about to say is for Jews as much as Gentiles. So many cities are missing the need for repentance and righteousness. I've already preached and done miracles in multiple cities.
And that is supposed to be the ends of the means of faith, is righteousness. Nothing else. We're supposed to be fair and square. And like I said, all religions say the same message: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So the ends of the means of faith is the result of righteous outcomes.
As have my followers. And yet they still fall short. So many of you are here listening to me, eager to be drawn closer to God, eager to find peace in your souls. And in doing so, you have more wisdom than most of the religious leaders who refuse to be humble. I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and understanding and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. And no one knows the Son except the Father. And no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. And I am revealing the Father to you now, Jew and Gentile. What is stirring in your hearts in the middle of such division and unrest is Father between you. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me,
For I am gentle and lowly in heart.
And when he's talking about take his yoke, he's talking about the duties that he purveys for his Father which is in heaven. And that's walking the same way. That's what he's talking about. Take upon the yoke of walking the same way, doing the same things he's doing, speaking the same words of faith and love and loyalty and righteousness.
Isn't it Galatians 5:14 that says fulfill all the commandments by just loving your neighbor as you do yourself?
Yeah,
right?
love thy neighbor as thyself. And so long as you've done this, you have fulfilled the law.
Mm-hmm.
And you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Speaking of rest, we all need it now, including me. So wherever you want to lay your head, let's sleep, and I will continue more. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you. Please let Jesus rest. We'll be back in the morning.
So what's the significance in saying shalom twice? I know shalom is peace. Is it extra peace or?
Yeah, it's just peace. It's like saying inshallah at the beginning of a request or prayer, and mashallah. Inshallah means if God wills it. Mashallah means God wills it.
Okay.
So Jesus up here could say inshallah at the beginning of his sermon, and at the end say mashallah, and it just concludes the event. It's a patent observation. So that refers to what is done is what ought be done. There is nothing new under the sun. So just follow the way.
How could you not want to follow Jesus? I don't understand. He's amazing.
Right, Matthew.
Judas, do you have the count?
Yes. There's at least 1,000 to the south. There were still people arriving after the sun went down. Are Andrew and Philip back?
No, but before it got dark, both points of the compass looked roughly equal in population.
So 2,000? And counting.
I said roughly, but yes.
We should get going.
We have a situation.
What situation?
The Gentiles.
They're out of food.
I don't think anyone expected the teaching to last all day.
Well, no one has forced them to stay.
Simon, they're hungry for his words.
Yeah, now they're hungry for food. It's not our problem. Can't they go back to their villages?
They were driven out by violence. It's nighttime. They have to sleep in these fields.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't get how bad things were when we first came.
Whatever happened, it wouldn't change the facts of the situation.
Well, I can see things are going just as well here as out there.
What do you mean? Some of these people were driven from their home more than a week ago. They're hungry and tired.
Don't trouble Simon with your news. His mind is anywhere but here.
Andrew, be gracious with your brother.
Gracious? He just said the people's hunger is not our problem, and we should send them away?
Did you really say that, Simon?
It doesn't matter now. What matters is that we need to solve this without Simon's help.
We can't. He's not the Messiah, John. Jesus is.
No arguments there, but Jesus told me that the success of this trip depends on Simon.
He said that?
So I stayed behind. Jesus insisted that I stay back, wait for Simon, and bring him.
Simon. Did he say how?
Everything in your life depends on faith. And they're saying that this depends on Simon. This trip depends on Simon. Realize Simon is the one amongst all of them that has faith. Realize in his words, listen. He's telling them, listen, Jesus is the Savior, not me. He will do what's needed. And they're the ones in their worry. Pay attention to when he walks on water.
No.
If it all depends on you, what's the plan?
Nothing.
What?
Jesus is capable of doing whatever he wants. In the end, that's what he'll do.
Brother, you're
If
being...
Jesus wants to provide a solution for these hungry people, that's what's going to happen. I'm sure of it.
You don't seem very happy, to be sure of it.
If you're having issues on Facebook, come over to YouTube. Come to the light side. Get out of the dark side. Facebook is terrible. Just come to YouTube.
If you're having trouble on
Kicked
YouTube,
out.
go over to Facebook. No copyright problem.
Azem, pick up. They're slobbering on me.
Oh, how much further do we have to go? You know this to the Decapolis, and you know the hour we left. An ungodly one.
There's no such thing as an ungodly hour.
Tell that to my wife. We were supposed to take the children to see their grandparents in Gaza today. We serve God first, then our families. We serve God by serving our families. And you don't have one, so don't preach at me.
The only preaching I've heard lately is you, repeating Shammai's refrain that fidelity to God's law to the letter is the only thing that matters. And yet here you are, complaining about actually having to act upon that conviction.
Imagine that. Imagine that. That's all Paul wants you to do is follow the conviction in your heart. And if your heart truly says to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which I believe is in everybody's heart, then why are we not doing it?
He also speaks of that disconnection, right? It's not like a kick people to the curb, but it's to realize that we have to have our own connection with the Spirit before we can even try to cultivate or assist the cultivation of the Spirit in others, you know?
Yep. And that's why he says you must hate your children. You must hate your wife. You've got to hate those people to have a connection with him, and then you can love them.
It also says, too, to discipline your son with the rod. Those who don't hate their son.
Yep, exactly. We've got to have a format of reality. Like I said, that once you're upon a certain age, there are certain things that are reasonable and logically observable that you cannot deny. And that's the problem with people. They want to deny shit that you can't.
When I filed the reports to Shammai about the healings on Shabbat and Jesus commanding his followers to eat heads of grain on Shabbat, your very own Shammai said to me that we would wait to take action until we knew it was God's time. Wisdom I wish you would have heeded. You forget your rank and stature, Shmuel. To the contrary, cognizant of my rank and stature, I asked him how we would know it was God's time. His answer? When evidence was abundant. Nashon said the crowds passing him on the road could only be described as multitudes of Gentiles. That's the other thing about all this. Gentiles. Why are we meddling in the Decapolis? It's the holy city that matters.
So, a sin is only a sin if it happens in or near Jerusalem.
No.
Get that one? See, a sin is either is in or near Jerusalem and nowhere else. This is comparative to teaching to the Gentiles outside of the cities, because those are the ones that need it. If you're in the holy city, you don't need the faith in saving. You already have it because you're in the holy city. Is that a false doctrine?
The shepherd who leaves the flock to save the one in need.
Yeah. Is that a false doctrine, these societies? Yep. That's a false doctrine. He is a respecter of no person. Pay attention. That term person is very important. Pay attention.
No. It's a matter of allocating resources. There's more syncretism and Hellenist influences desecrating our people's practice in the Decapolis than we could ever hope to address in any meaningful way. The hassle of hunting down a single Jew who may be leading some people astray is myopic and unappealing.
You get it? Even back then, they don't want to chase down a single guy. You're not that important. It's the message. Period.
Wow.
I'm sorry that false teaching is such a burden to you. I'm sorry it's such a burden to you.
That's enough of all this. I think the one thing that we can all agree on is that if we find him performing any magic tricks or sorcery, we will have to take action.
It's been a long time since I've prosecuted a witchcraft case. They can be unwieldy.
That's the heresy
Which is
hunters
why
traveling to my channel.
I let them come to me. Don't go looking for them. Is there any way to go faster?
Yes,
You
Rabbi.
summoned the carriage in the middle of the night. Did you expect Caiaphas to handpick your steeds? Just relax.
I had to say it, I'm sorry.
Tell me what you think of this. A man had 2 sons, and he went to the first and said, "Son, go and work in the vineyard today." And he answered, "I will not." But afterward he changed his mind, and he went. And he went to the other son and said the same. And he answered, "I will go, sir," but did not go.
Faith without works is dead. Without faith, your good works will prove the living soul. They work hand in hand.
Which of the 2 sons did the will of the father? Many of you are
The doing, not the saying.
from cities such as respected God.
You- Where did you find that?
At the bottom of my bag. Forgot it was in there. It's a little stale, but it'll do.
You've been out here for days and you just discovered it?
I followed some men who told me we were coming to watch a fight.
A fight?
Everyone was just in such a hurry.
Parable of the leavened bread. A little leaven goeth a long way.
Does anyone have any food? No. Food?
Your name is Andrew, yes?
Yes.
I wanted to say thank you again for everything
I'm
you...
not the one healed your father, but I can certainly pass that along.
You've been asking about food.
Yes.
I want to share what I have.
A little leaven goeth a long way. Rise.
Isn't that yeast where it rises?
Yeah, rise. You are the cream of the crop. All you have to do is rise. Be willing to share.
One family.
That's all it is.
I just wanted to do what I could.
The kingdom of heaven.
You okay?
Is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. What do you mean by that?
No, I don't. Look,
Let me say it another way.
instead of we should.
It is like a merchant in search of fine pearls.
Middle of his sermon.
There's no way to feed these one pearl of great value. Went and sold all that he had and bought it. Listen carefully, because this is accessible to all of you, regardless of race or creed.
It's the last thing we need.
The
to do.
kingdom
I'm
is
just
so
saying.
valuable that once you have glimpsed it, it's worth parting with everything you have in order to gain it.
We shouldn't burden him.
Even though to others you might look like a fool, throwing away your life savings to buy what would look to others an unremarkable field.
An unremarkable field, wherein he's speaking of the land, Leviticus 25, verse 23. The land shall not be sold forever. So he sold off everything he had to buy a pearl so he could exchange it for a field.
And I mean, but it's funny because this is another, like, in line with what Paul is doing, right? Paul is
Exactly.
slave, where he's literally throwing it all away, and well, not everyone, because I'm not a part of that, but people out there think he's foolish, and he's just utterly stupid for doing what he's doing, and he's laying it all down.
Yeah, the scripture goes on to say, the land shall not be sold forever, for it is mine, and ye are strangers and sojourners with me. So you have a gathering of all these people, strangers, that sojourn to this place, gathering with him. And in all the lands of your possession ye shall grant a redemption to the land. And in all the brothers that are waxing and waning, short of food and starving and thirsting, you shall fill their cup and feed them, granting them a redemption. This is our duty. Follow the way of Jesus, granting redemptions, and that is by giving his knowledge.
Because he also says, he didn't live off bread alone.
Correct. Exactly. So you got to earn that bread, and you earn that bread by faith, and faith is proven by your works.
What you know of the hidden treasure, that makes it worth everything. Have you come closer to hear better?
No, there is an issue.
My friends, if you'll excuse me, I must speak with my students a moment.
Rabbi, people are out of food. Yeah, some have been without food for days, others have traveled a great distance.
So, give them something to eat.
We're out of food. They're out of food. Is it time to send them home?
But at this point, they're so hungry and tired, if we send them home, they'll faint along the way.
You knew they were hungry?
Yes, Judas. I can see them while I'm talking. Well, this is a tough one. Where can we buy some bread for all these people?
We only came with a little over 200 denarii.
Rabbi, that's not even enough to get a little bit for everyone. I wouldn't even know how to calculate that.
Matthew and I can calculate that. That's really easy. Maybe if we go into the cities, we can negotiate something on credit.
Yes. Yes, that could work. Negotiate with whom? The closest city is Abila, and its entire population is here. It's 9 miles away, and even if we raided every house in town, we'd have to find a way to bring it back here, and it would still only feed a fraction of the masses.
Can you bring me anything? Surely there's some food from someone, even a small amount.
5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. But what is this for so many?
Barley loaves.
2 fish and 5 barley loaves. Thank you for clarifying.
This is humiliating.
John? He will take care of it if he wants to.
You look scared. What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid that he'll choose them.
This is wonderful bread, Telemachus.
I know it's not enough.
Oh, it's enough for me. I can do a lot with this.
Ooh, preach.
Thank you.
Preach.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth.
Did they find some bread?
If they've got bread, be ready. We'll probably be first.
Feed them.
What has changed?
Are we organize the people into groups of 50 and 100? Gather up 12 baskets to distribute the loaves and fish.
See, this is still mind-blowing to me. Thomas was
I
there
unclear?
at the party with the wine, where he turned all the water to wine. Like, is he? How do they forget? Like, it's weird to me.
Yeah, and it's firsthand.
Yeah, that's what makes it even crazier.
This feels familiar.
Maybe.
Let's go.
Does anyone have a basket? Please borrow a basket. Anyone? Please.
Come on.
Yes, somebody here.
Feed them.
Anyone?
Yes.
Anyone have a basket? Anyone? This is so epic.
The kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that the man took and sowed in his field.
Anyone have a basket?
It is the smallest of all seeds. But when it has grown, it is larger than all the gardens. It becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air can come and make their nests in its branches.
I got one. Let's just keep on. Break up the bread. How many do we have? There, you take some. There. You need some? Give me some of that. Just like that. Yeah. There. Anyone need some?
It's better than the tail.
That's the last of it. Yeah, that's the last of it. All right, Marcus, you can have your basket back. What? Boy, listen. The basket. Look. Is your basket full? You see this? You see all this?
Let's go.
So the reason Simon's upset, right? Because he even said it. He said that if Jesus wants this problem to be solved, I'm sure of it, he'll solve it. And when he's got his own issues in his own life, and I guess Jesus ain't going out of his way to solve his problems. He's got it in his mind that Jesus don't want his problems to be solved, which isn't the case. I think Simon still has a bit of pride that's kind of like in the way a little bit.
To hear all this time giving you spiritual food, but you clearly need actual food now. So let's eat.
Rabbi
This is
Yusuf,
live, by the way, for
there
everyone
are
keeps
two
saying this is
women here to
pre-recorded.
see.
We're live.
It's Rabbi Josiah's visiting hours. Is he
Oh, so
unable to
good.
assist? I'm in the middle of something very important.
One of the women says to tell you she is the wife of Simon, son of Jonah.
Oh, Jesus is... Yes, please, send him in. You have my deepest condolences. Torah has very little to say on this specific matter, I'm afraid. But sorrow is sorrow, especially since your husband is...
Gone.
Perhaps, but I was going to say distracted. There is much going on with Jesus, and in many ways, the world is upending with Simon in the middle of it. I'm making sense of it myself. Maybe I've been too distracted. It's easy to forget there are still matters of great importance to tend to in the home. Are you angry with him?
Yes.
I understand. You mentioned you did your purification in the sea. Now that some time has passed, what about a new cleansing, but in the mikveh? With a prayerful state of mind, maybe this could be part of a new path forward.
But the cistern...
We received word this morning it will be operational by sundown. Actually, I believe Simon helped in the speedy repair.
Perhaps when she is ready. We were hoping today for a reading from Torah.
Of course. Did you have anything in mind?
Perhaps something uplifting and joyful, Rabbi?
I'm not sure that would be truthful. There are many psalms of anguish and even anger, and they are all just as important as the others.
No spoilers,
In fact,
or you'll be put on
some of the
timeout.
desperate psalms draw us closest to God. One of David's appointed chief musicians, Asaph, was inclined to write in this depth. As in this passage, in the day of my trouble, I seek the Lord. In the night, my hand stretches out without wearying. This psalm is desperate, even angry. Do you know who else is undoubtedly desperate and angry? Simon. I know him a little, and I'm sure he's actually very angry. And making that known to others. Perhaps you can pray this with him and for him. My soul refuses to be comforted. When I remember God, I moan.
Wow.
When I meditate, my spirit faints. You hold my eyelids open. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. Will the Lord spurn forever, never again favorable? Has his steadfast love forever ceased? Are his promises at an end for all time? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Has he, in his anger, shut up his compassion? But that's not the whole psalm, is it? Then I said, I will appeal to this, to the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your wonders of old. I will ponder all your work and meditate on your mighty deeds. Your way, oh God, is holy. What God is great like our God? You are the God that works wonders. You have made your might known among the peoples. You, with your arm, redeemed your people, the children of Jacob and Joseph.
Mr. James, what happened? Your basket looks heavier than before.
Everyone ate and was satisfied. They didn't want any more. They were full.
You gave us even more than we needed.
You will get used to this kind of math, Judas.
I'm in. Thank you, Rabbi. Can't believe we ever doubted.
Well, I was the one to cause their hunger. I should be the one to satisfy it, no?
I am no longer surprised.
You're a new Matthew. Oh, sorry. But I meant it.
It's always this way. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's just like Simon said it would be.
A little bit of faith in Simon now, huh? See how that overlays?
John.
If you have not seen this episode, do not read the chat because people are putting spoilers. If you have not seen this episode, do not read the chat. I've seen this episode already, so those of you saying people are going to spoil it for you, I've already saw this episode in theaters. This episode came out last night.
He wasn't exaggerating.
This is more than I ever thought.
That's a Nabatean robe. That headdress is Arabian.
We're in a sea of Gentiles.
Driver, stop! What is this? What has been happening?
The teacher from Nazareth.
How long have you been out here listening to the teacher?
2 days.
But we are several miles from any city. How did you eat?
He multiplied loaves and fish to feed us, thousands of us.
What do you mean, multiply?
There just kept being more and more by his hand. A miracle.
We need the evidence of 3 witnesses.
That won't be difficult.
Did he and his followers also partake?
Of course.
He breaks bread with Gentiles.
I tell them God performed a miracle, and they say, but he ate with the wrong people.
We already
Literally
knew an
the
Ethiopian
Pharisees.
woman travels
They've
with him
never
and his
changed.
students.
But breaking bread, that's worse than I thought. Again, we need witnesses.
Pharisees from Judea. You're a little late. You missed the show.
Name the teacher.
Jesus of Nazareth. The name I will never forget.
What did he preach? Did any of it run contrary to Torah?
He preached about the kingdom of heaven.
Which is what?
Everything. Mustard seed, a pearl of great price, treasure hidden in a field. But the best part, he said that in the kingdom of heaven, many would come from east and west with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's all of us. Jew and Gentile together at one table.
What? We need a 3rd witness.
Jesus of Nazareth may be the first Jew to break bread with Gentiles, but he won't be the last. And it will be with your patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Blasphemy.
Come on, I love it.
You've hurt our people.
We've hurt each other. But he is healing us.
That's one of the best scenes right there. That is literally the gospel preached.
We need 3 witnesses.
What did the teacher say about Gentiles reclining at table with patriarchs? What did the teacher say? What did the teacher say about Gentiles reclining at table with patriarchs? What did the teacher say?
Okay. Okay, it will do it. Not amazing, but it will do. No net, no fish, nothing. I just want the boat. I want 4 hours waiting inside when I come back. Listen, how much you want? Because I'm in a rush, it's waiting for you, okay?
What do we do now? It's a 13-mile walk back to Capernaum, all the way around the sea, in the rain and in the dark.
With everything we had to do today, carrying the baskets and distributing food.
I'll do my best. We won't leave you behind, James.
We're not walking. We're rowing. It's only 8 miles across. I got a boat. And we can row faster than we can walk. Come on, Big James. You know we're good at this.
Excellent strategy, Simon. Simon is right. Everyone get into the boat and row back across to Capernaum.
What about
So now we see that Jesus himself is helping to instill faith in Simon from everybody else. Notice, Jesus isn't going to go with him. He's instilling faith for everybody else in Simon to go with Simon.
You. It's been a long 3 days. I need some time alone to pray.
But there are storm clouds on the horizon.
Let me stay with you, Rabbi. I'll keep watch.
Be fine. All of you go. Hurry. Follow Simon. You all did so well today. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom, shalom. Oh, sorry, I forgot I wasn't in the show. Trying to get a roll, Dallas. Where are you at?
I stayed behind so you could get us a boat.
I won't be in your way for long.
Have faith, Simon.
Faith isn't my problem. I think I was a mistake. Even God makes them, right? Go.
Wow.
Interesting, huh?
You heard him. Let's go.
Still think God would rather us question him and bring our concerns to him rather than just get away from him.
You look familiar. More specifically, and I mean no offense, you look troubled.
I am.
I'm going up this hill to pray. Would you care to join me? You don't have to talk about anything if you don't want. I know sometimes people who are troubled just need someone to sit with them in silence.
Most of the time, however, it's the people that are troubled refuse to do sit in silence. They're just like an addict. They want an answer and they want it right fucking now. No patience. Again, time. A one-word answer.
Like Job.
Is it that bad?
Not quite. More like David.
Boucher.
How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me?
You're losing something. I know what that's like.
What are you losing?
Time.
What are we losing? Time.
Whoa.
Come. Join me in prayer for a little while.
Will you speak with me after?
I will. If you still want to question me after we pray.
There will be 7 seasons total. And Dallas might be in here. He does watch the streams, which is awesome. So he might be watching this with us.
That's the guy that created it.
I'll answer questions after the stream.
Simon, we're not getting anywhere. The winds are too strong. We should turn back. We can get there. Just keep rowing.
Simon, it's the 4th watch of the night and we've been stuck in the same place for hours. Help James! Are you alright? James, are you okay? Help him up. Help him. We can't take much more water.
We'll founder. Better off wet and cold on land than drowned and dead out here.
John, keep rowing. What are you doing? Did anybody just see that? Over there. I don't see anything.
What are we looking for?
Go! Get the boat! Go! Go! Let's go!
It can't be.
That guy there, he's still on the other bank waiting for him to return. He doesn't have faith that they can make it.
We have to get out of here! Everyone move! Go! Go! Faster! Let's go!
Nobody move!
Simon, what?
I said everybody stop! Stop!
Simon stands in his faith.
Stop! Stop! Okay, stop!
Nobody move! That's not a ghost!
Are you crazy?
Don't be afraid! It's me! Jesus? Impossible!
How is this the second most incredible thing I've seen today?
This surprises you? Did you learn nothing from today?
If it is you, command me to come to you on the water.
Simon, no! Are you out of your mind?
If you are who you say you are, bid me to step out of this boat.
You have the faith to walk on this water?
Absolutely. You can do whatever you command. And if you command the water,
If I call you to me, you will step out in faith?
yes!
Then why are you upset?
Why are you chasing after Gentiles when your own people have problems right here? When your own person has problems?
Your own person. When your own people. Even then they knew a distinction. How come we don't?
I've been right here in front of you, believing in you, but you're breaking up fights in the Decapolis? Then come to me, you, weary and heavy laden. I will give you rest.
Simon, no.
Don't be foolish, Simon!
Simon, wait! Simon! No, Simon!
Simon, Simon, where are you
What
going?
are you doing, Simon? Stop!
Simon!
Simon!
Now she's in the mitzvah.
Do you still have faith? Faith hasn't been my problem.
She's going to be cleansed in the mitzvah when she's already been cleansed in the sea.
I gave up everything to follow you, but you're healing total strangers.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gives and takes away.
Why do you think I allowed trials? I don't know! They prove the genuineness of your faith. They strengthen you. This is strengthening you. And Eden. Keep your eyes on me.
Who comforts us in our grief and binds up the wounds of the brokenhearted. Mourns with us for the life that could not be.
I can't breathe, my heart.
Sinking. Lord, save me. I'm sinking.
In the shadow of your wings, do we take refuge?
Help me, please!
So either way, whether you're cleansed in the sea or in a mitzvah, the way to observe it is a spiritual cleansing.
Don't let me go. I got you. I got you. Don't let me go. I got you. Please. Oh, you have little faith. Why did you doubt? Don't let me go. I have much planned for you, Simon, including hard things. Just keep your eyes on me. I promise. Come on, help him. Help. Please. Please. Don't let me go, please. I'm sorry. Don't let me go, please. I'm sorry, please. Don't let me. Peace! Be still!
So in the end, it really comes down to who do you really have faith in? You have faith in yourself, always. But where do you get that faith from? There's at least one other being we all look up to, whether it be our dad or our mom or an uncle or something. But where truly does that message come from that we observe in them? Is it the person or the message?
Oh, can't breathe.
Don't let me go. I'm here. I'm always here. I let people go hungry.
Notice in the closed captions, it says Peter crying. His name is Simon. It's because he's already been cleansed. That's why it shows that he has faith. He's already been renamed Simon. He was Peter.
But I feed him. Please. Please don't let me go. Don't let me go.
Don't let him go. Please. Don't let him go.
I think we underestimate the power of when we pray for other people as well, and they're unaware of it. It's just as powerful.
Well, yeah, and that's also this, vice versa with the forgiveness. We can forgive somebody, and they'll know it. We don't have to forgive them personally, verbally, orally, or anything. We can just forgive them, and our actions will show it.
Yeah.
Everything that's true is observable.
I will appeal to this, to the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your wonders of old. I will ponder all your work and meditate on your mighty deeds. Your way, O God, is holy.
John the Baptist.
What God is great like our God? You are the God who works wonders. You have made known your might among the peoples. You with your arm redeemed your people, the children of Jacob and Joseph.
Just like I said earlier about the redemption. That's our true duty. And this is how we do it. We have faith that we too can walk on water. Ye shall do greater things than I. If he can redeem, we. Right there is your principle goal, and you will automatically see the things that need to be redeemed.
Saw you, O God. When the waters saw you, they were afraid. Indeed, the deep trembled. The clouds poured out water. The skies gave forth thunder. Your arrows flashed on every side. The crash of your thunder was in the whirlwind. Your lightnings lighted up the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your way was through the sea, your path through the great waters. Yet your footprints were unseen.
Footprints of the sand. It wasn't his footprints that were unseen. It was our own. He was carrying us. Will we admit that?
I think it's ready.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate this time, man. Seriously.
Anytime, anytime. I'm sorry it went the way it went because I was really hoping to have a good full panel, but all these things I'm still learning, like I said at the beginning. So I learned something again today that I will remember from now on and see if it changes things the next time I do a review. And that is that 17 USC 107, where it speaks of the limitations on exclusive rights for fair use. This channel is not monetized, so they can't say that I'm using it under any kind of copyright whatsoever. If you're not monetizing it, then it's automatically under fair use.
And it's not like you're taking any, anything from them because they're not monetized either. I mean, they sell merchandise.
Exactly. That's what I said. We're just reviewing a review. So if they got by with it on that review, then we should be able to do a review of the review without the copyright. Again, particularly because it's not a monetized channel. That should be the automatic.
He did say he interviewed Dallas himself, so he may have got direct permission to do so. But
yeah. At the same time, though, it was still labeled as a review.
Yeah, very true.
So it was already under a copyright fair use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what tells me that it's the AI that's picking up on it if you don't proclaim the fair use on your video itself.
Yeah.
So we're learning as we go, and like I said, it's all in that observance that we have faith that the next time it will work. That's why we keep doing what we do, hoping for the different results. And if we're doing it correctly, we're changing things up along the way, so we're not actually doing the exact same thing. We're adding on to that platform with our knowledge, so we can construct it in its proper form.
Right.
So, and it all comes from the scripture.
I'm gonna get ready to get my daughter ready to go. So, man, I appreciate you. Seriously, thanks for the time, man.
I got you, brother. Without you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. Even one panel member, and I'm willing to do it, guys. But if it's just me, then it's just my opinion. It's not really a review where we have other people interjecting and having basic comments on things that I don't think of.
Well, that speaks volumes about your character, man. Seriously.
I hope so, because like I said, I want a full panel. The 12-step program taught me that I was supposed to have a sponsor. The scripture tells me I already have a sponsor. And then if I seek him, I'll find answers. And that answer was he told me I'm supposed to gather up all the knowledge from everybody and use that as my counsel. So everybody became my sponsor in life, and I quit the NA program. So,
and in return, you got to kind of play the sponsor to other people,
Exactly. So in the meantime, God bless. Love y'all. Thanks for joining me. And like I said, this will be up on YouTube either way because Facebook allowed it. So once I get done here, I'll go ahead and just download it from Facebook. If I find out that I'm going to try to edit the YouTube one, see if they put it up. Because if they do, then that means this whole thing will show up. It's just that it won't have the live interaction except for you on the panel. So.
Understood. Well, be blessed, brother.
Y'all have a good one. I'm out. Thanks again for joining. We'll see you next time.